Real quick, I want to thank this video sponsor, which is SimpliSafe. A few weeks ago, I built this workbench for my garage in a single day. While it has some great features already, like a front lip for clamping stuff down, a shelf for upper storage, drawers with casters for lower storage, and even simple adjustable feet, I've now added 15 more upgrades. They are all quick, simple, and cheap, but these 15 little things make a huge difference. So let's jump into them. First up is a bench vise. Hand screw clamps have kind of gone out of style, but they are the only clamp that is made from wood, making them incredibly versatile, as you can screw things to them or screw them to things. With just 2 screws, I can attach this in any orientation to assist with holding something, but if it gets in the way, I can just as easily take it off until it's needed again. And you just simply can't beat $15 for a vise. Over here, I mounted a Reelcraft hose reel when I was originally building the workbench, and this has been so useful to get me power anywhere in the shop. There's a common myth out there that cord reels are dangerous due to heat buildup in the cord spool, but all Reelcraft units are UL listed and designed to handle heat buildup, so you don't have to worry about it. Next is a place to store pipe clamps. These are handy, but a pain to store. What I do is buy a few threaded PVC end caps and a few eye bolts. You punch a hole into the end of the end cap, then thread in an eye bolt with a few nuts to lock it into place. And very quickly, you have a way to store these on some unused workbench space or a wall. PVC is very handy in storage capacities. An obvious one is to grab a length and cut a shallow angle on both ends. And this will give you space to throw in a screw and attach it to a surface such as the underside of a shelf. I grabbed the size that would hold tubes of caulking. I also put them in a corner of my shelf so that the tubes themselves create a second shelf for excess tubes. Another PVC trick I love is to grab a length and use a table saw to cut out about 1/3 of the diameter. If you feel comfortable, you can just run the length through the blade until you remove the section. However, if running a round object across the blade makes you nervous, a trick here is to use a scrap to temporarily attach it to. You can use a screw, hot glue, or double-sided tape. Then you'll have a flat surface to ride along the fence, giving you a straight cut. Now cut what remains into sections. Screw this to a wall or workbench surface, and you have a spring tension holder always at the ready for a sleeve of PVC. If you want to turn this into a cup, you just need to cut a wooden circle the same size as the bottom and screw it in. Now you can toss in whatever you want to easily store. Then the last PVC trick I have for you is to cut a 1/4 inch section out of the overall diameter. Now what remains is a strong hook. I'm using it for levels to utilize the front 2x4, but if you place them on a wall, it would be great for cords or bags or really anything. They're surprisingly strong. Sticking along the top of the workbench, I drilled a hole in one of the framing members of the top shelf. Now the fun part. It's not fun, it's being sarcastic. Just big enough for a piece of all thread to go through. I placed a nut on either side so that it can't move, and now I have a quick way to stow away squeeze clamps and tape. On another stud bay, I played around with building a drop-down bin. I built a lip from scraps on the left side, and then I built a simple bin that's just butt joints and glue. The idea is to pop the bin up and out of the way, keeping it there with a gate latch. But then if I need it, I can drop it down and move it to where I want to work. If I'm being honest, I can't think of what I want to store here, but it was just such a great use of space that I imagine that once I build it, I'll figure out something to put up there. Real quick, I want to thank this video sponsor, which is SimpliSafe. There has never been a better time to make your home safe. Our friends at SimpliSafe are now giving you early access to all of their holiday deals of 40% off or more on their award-winning home security. It's the best deal of the year. You guys know that I've used SimpliSafe for my personal and commercial shop security for a while now. They make ordering and setup easy by enabling you to design a system best fit for your space and ship it directly to your doorstep. They've got sensors to cover every window, room, and door, plus lots of great extras like water sensors, smoke detectors, HD cameras for indoors and outside, and doorbell cameras. Their new wireless outdoor security camera has a built-in spotlight with color night vision and two-way audio, allowing you to speak directly to somebody on your property. SimpliSafe is trusted by over 3 million Americans, and it's no wonder as I found all of the devices to be very reliable. Setup is a breeze and they're easy to use. 24/7 monitoring service calls the authorities immediately in an emergency, making me feel extra safe. You can save 40% or more on your SimpliSafe security system during their holiday sale. Visit simplisafe.com/April to learn more. Now, I do have a full sheet of pegboard to utilize, but storing tape measures on pegboard just never works out for me. So instead, I grabbed a steel ruler at the store and put 2 holes in it. I placed 2 nuts on the backside to make a standoff from the 2x4, and then I screwed it down. And this gives me a lip to quickly hang my tapes instead of having them take up space on my workbench top. While I'm not a huge fan of drawers, in the shop I like things to be visible and accessible. I will admit that drawers are best for some things, so I went ahead and built a simple chest for the bottom shelf. A few tips anytime you make drawers for a shop: keep it simple. No fancy joinery is needed. Glue and screws do the trick for the drawers. And same on the body. Also, instead of using a big piece to make an entire bag, make a corner gusset instead. This will keep it from racking but not use as much material. Instead of using expensive drawer slides, use wood, use scraps. Now, wood on wood can slide, but sometimes not smoothly. To help with that, get some melamine edge banding to attach it to the top surface of the runners. Look for the peel and stick kind if you really want to speed things up. I've never had one of these come off. But if it doesn't slide enough for you, put another strip on the bottom side of the drawer. Then one last tip for a chest of drawers is to put a handle on the front so that, of course, you have a pull, but also put one on the back so that you can easily carry the drawer around. The underside of my main workbench has open cavities just like the top shelf, making it a great spot to hide things. You can buy magnets with a hole in the center so that you can attach them to things using a screw. So you can buy a bin and glue washers to the bottom side, the same distance as the magnets. Then you have a storage spot for cash, for candy, for anything you want to keep to yourself. So one more for the underside, but this one's not sneaky. Tubes like these are great for holding a large variety of items. So what I did was drill a few holes a little larger than the diameter. Then I built a T for the back end. This is just a lip to hold the tubes up. It can be screwed to the underside of the workbench. Just make sure the screw length is short enough so they don't pop through the top. Now I can organize things like zip ties, Sawzall blades, or, yes, candy. What? They fit in the tube. I couldn't not have a tube full of Reese's. Here's a quick way to store a combination square. I don't like to hang these on pegboards because they hang wonky. Instead, I grab a scrap of 1x and cut off about 1/2 inch. Now I'll turn the piece over and run the blade through the end, making a curve that just so happens to fit the roll of a square. To keep it from falling out, glue the piece you cut off back on. Now screw it to any workbench and you have a holster for your combination square. Moving along to the side. I wanted to build some sort of extension that wasn't permanent, but would allow me to have room on all sides. So I grabbed a scrap of 3/4 inch wood for the top and made a simple frame for the underside. Then for the legs, I ripped down some more scraps to make 2 L shapes. I added in 2 cross braces to connect them, then used 2 hinges to connect the legs to the top. I attached a French cleat on what I'm calling the bottom side, and then a mating cleat to my workbench. Now I can attach the extension anytime I need more space, or I'm working on something that I need access to both sides. I also attached a French cleat on the left side of my workbench so that I have the option of putting it over there should I want to. But keep in mind that you can put a French cleat anywhere and utilize this. Like, I work on stuff, but I resort to playing the drums whenever I'm trying to demonstrate a workbench. Then, to store it away, I simply drilled a large enough hole near the top to put a lag on the side of my workbench and hang it up. This workbench has a few things up high, and to avoid having to grab a step stool anytime I need something, I bought a pair of these metal steps. You typically find these on campers or trailers. These can be screwed to the legs so that I can flip them down to get a quick boost. I think this is such a cool tip, and you can find a pair for about $20. And I thought it was done there, but it is the end of the day, and I decided it was lacking a very important feature, an onboard beer opener. Yes, yes, of course you can buy a good looking one with your favorite team on the front from the store, but if you're in a bind, drill a screw with a built-in washer into the lip of your workbench. Then prop your feet up and admire how much more efficient you made your workspace today. So many of these things I used on my workbench, and you can easily adapt them to yours, or you can just put them on a wall. So I hope that you've been able to find some good resources or ideas in here. Come here, bud. Totem sure does like it. Anyways, I hope that you have found some usefulness in this video. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which one is your favorite. And I'll see you on whatever I'm building next, guys. You're in the way of my wave. If you are looking for some great sawhorse plans, then I have a link for you right here for this one, as well as 2 other variations. This one's cheap, it's sturdy, it's very quick to put together, and the thing that I like the best is that it's foldable. And it's collapsible.